Alissa Moore, abused by her father from the age of 7, now haunted by chilling childhood memories.
To me, the smack across the head or the punch in the back or whatever was much easier to take than the other.
And the fight for justice 4 decades later.
It's about establishing the truth, because the passage of time should not be detrimental to the detection of crime.
Alissa and Paul Moore met on a blind date arranged by friends. For both of them, it's love at first sight.
We just got on so well together. He literally moved in 2 days after we met. He moved into my flat with me, and we've been together ever since. I just felt safe right from the start with him, and that was, you know, perfect for me. I knew that I wanted to spend the rest of my life with him.
They have their first child together, Kaylee. And on May the 22nd, 1987, they marry at Bletchley Registry Office in Milton Keynes.
Budget, we didn't have a lot of money. We'd just bought the house just across the road. But yeah, I had everything really that I'd always wanted right there. I was happy, very happy.
Alissa's parents, James and Joan O'Brien, live nearby and are at the wedding. For Paul and Alissa, when their second daughter Tony is born, life seems complete.
I did used to dream that I would meet someone and have 2 girls. That's all what I used to always imagine. And it would just be perfect to have our own nice home, and he would be nice to me. So I dream it, but never did I think it would become a reality.
But it is a reality. Paul and Alissa become grandparents, and in May 2012, they celebrate their silver wedding anniversary. But then in March 2014, a family member makes historic sex abuse allegations against Alissa's father, James O'Brien. Alissa is at first completely unaware that a police investigation is underway. Tracy Westcombe works in the Police Child Abuse Investigations Unit.
Me and my colleagues went round to their home address and we arrested both Mr. and Mrs. O'Brien. House search is conducted because we were looking at various bits of evidence that we needed. Whilst the house search was being conducted, they were transported away to the police station.
James O'Brien denies the allegations and is released on bail. But Tracy and her colleagues continue to gather evidence from other family members affected.
By going and seeing them, talking to them, getting their accounts from them, it's literally you like opening a Pandora's box.
One of the key family members police need to interview is James O'Brien's oldest daughter, Alissa Moore. Out of the blue, Alissa gets a knock on the door, and a dark secret that's remained hidden for almost 4 decades is about to be revealed.
The first time I went round to Alissa's, I just basically cold called. I'm here to introduce myself to you so you know who I am. And just basically so she gets to know me. You know, that I'm not just a police officer. Obviously, I don't wear a uniform in my job, so that she can see me as a person, and that I'm approachable. I'm here to listen to her and support her through all this.
I had no idea that this was happening until the knock on the door that day. And the lady police officer was there and said that she was there to see if I would be prepared to give a statement against my father. as she was pursuing an allegation that's been made against him, and my name had been put forward. And I just said, no, I'm not prepared to talk about it. Just leave me alone.
She just said to me that, I've dealt with this in my own way. I don't want to reopen the boxes again. So I just kept in contact with her, saying, look, I am here. The door is open for you. If you want to come and talk to me, come and talk to me. Tell me, it's not too late.
Former Detective Superintendent David Swindle has investigated cases of child protection, rape and sexual assault.
I have dealt with many historical sexual abuse cases. It is one of the most difficult areas of policing, trying to establish the facts. The police use specially trained officers. It's important. They know how to speak to these victims. They know how to obtain the information. You've got to gain the trust. It's a slow process. It's important to try and get the trust of these people and move forward.
Alissa has previously told her husband Paul about the abuse she suffered. She's always refused to go into any detail, but they severed contact with her parents when her own daughters were young. Now, for the first time, her earliest childhood memories are rushing to the surface, and she can't keep the terrible truth hidden any longer.
From the first day that she knocked on my door, it was like someone had just unlocked everything. Little by little, all these memories kept coming, flooding back. Couldn't sleep. And eventually I decided that I felt that I couldn't move forward unless I did unload what I'd been trying to deny for all these years. So I gave my statement.
Saturday, June the 14th, 2014. Alissa makes a full statement. It's the first time she's ever spoken in detail about what happened all those years ago.
I think we were in the interview room for about 2 hours when she literally just completely opened up and told me about her childhood and what abuse she was suffering by her parents.
Alissa tells the story of her childhood, how she grows up in Ireland, the oldest of 5 children, living in constant fear of her father.
Our life at home, it's scary, really, because you never knew what mood he was going to be in, whether you were going to get smacked. It was just constantly like walking on eggshells. It was like living in a nightmare at home, scary nightmare. Didn't seem happy. The only time I saw him happy was when he was drunk. Or when he was showing people in the street. We went downtown together that he was a good dad, and he'd look at his lovely children and how well they looked and how well he dressed them. And it's like just for show.
Behind closed doors, James O'Brien is a violent bully and a wife beater.
My father was quite angry, and sometimes you'd just get a slap for looking the wrong way, it felt like. He did used to take his anger out on my mum, and we would sit on the stairs and listen to him beating her up.
But what comes next shocks and sickens even the most hardened detective.
I didn't know what Alissa was going to say to me. So I knew, obviously, that some abuse had taken place, but not to the extent that she opened up to me when we did the formal interview. You're sitting there and you're listening to somebody telling you the most horrendous things, horrendous crime that can happen.
November 1970. Alissa is at home with her father, James O'Brien.
My mum was in hospital having my youngest sister, and he was in the house looking after us. I was 7, because there's exactly 7 years between us. That's how I know how old I was. And I remember him taking me out of the bed that I shared with my other 2 sisters. and he took me downstairs. And that's the first memory that I have of yes, he raped me. Didn't understand. But I felt scared. I can remember feeling really, really scared.
For a father to sexually abuse or rape his own daughter, I just can't comprehend it, really.
He told me that if I ever told anyone, he'd run away with me, take me, just me and him. That scared me even more because I'd never want to be with him on my own.
Terrified and confused, Alissa waits for her mother to come home.
My mum come home with the baby, which is my youngest sister. And she was in the kitchen, and I went in the kitchen, and I was trying to tell her. I was saying, Daddy hurt me. Like, shush, be quiet, don't say it, don't let him hear you saying it. But he did. Because he came in, dragged me off my mum. I remember holding her skirt. And he just threw me on the floor and then started kicking me and punching me.
Emma Kenny is a psychologist who's worked with child victims of abuse, rape, and sexual exploitation.
For Alissa, at 7 years of age, to have been raped by her father would have been ultimately terrifying, but also so psychologically and emotionally damaging. But of course, in that moment, she would have hoped that there was somebody able to protect her, and she would have sought out her mother to ask her to stop the abuse, to confide in her what's happened. But of course, what she receives from her mother is rejection. So essentially, Alissa's told, it doesn't matter. He's allowed to do whatever he wants to do to you.
I always knew that she knew. And she was protecting him, I thought. But I know she was, a part of that was fear too. The fear that I felt, she had too.
Coming up, the abuse continues and becomes almost too much to bear.
I didn't want to be alive anymore.
From the age of 7, Alissa Moore suffers sexual abuse at the hands of her father, James O'Brien.
I remember him taking me out of the bed and he took me downstairs. And that's the first memory that I have of, yes, he raped me.
Nearly 40 years later, Alissa makes a chilling statement to police investigating allegations against her father.
You're sitting there and you're listening to somebody telling you the most horrendous things, horrendous crime that can happen.
In her statement, Alissa recounts how she tried to tell her mother what was happening, but her father continued to abuse her unchecked. Over the coming months, Alissa is repeatedly raped and sexually assaulted.
She told me that it started from the ages of about 7. That was her earliest memory. Obviously, they weren't living in this country at that time. So she told me what was happening, about it was a regular occurrence, that if she was out playing with her friends, then her dad would call her in.
He'd bring me into the house, just me on my own, take me to the back room.
He would get her to touch him, masturbate him. He would sexually assault her.
He'd take my underwear off and just rape me.
Alissa's father becomes more brazen, and the abuse continues outside the confines of the family home.
He took me once on his bike. I had to sit on that bar thing at the front. and took me, and so it was like a field. And we went the other side, there was the bushes. He wrote me then, told me that, just reminded me that I wasn't to tell anyone that he loved me and I was his special girl, and if anyone knew, they wouldn't understand.
For a child of that young age, thinking that what he's doing to her, not knowing what he's doing to her was wrong, but knowing that he was hurting her as he was doing these things, nobody can put themselves in their shoes. You know, it's horrendous.
Children who are abused are incredibly vulnerable, and they need to place all of those unmanageable emotions somewhere safe, because otherwise the chances are that you can internalise them and it can literally destroy you. So when Alissa's finally talked about this, she starts to be able to go back and see how unsafe her situation was, how unloved she felt, and how without protection her life as a child was. And that's a huge amount to grieve. To know that your childhood wasn't safe, to know that you were abused so horribly. You have to be grown up to be able to emotionally process that.
November 1972. The family leaves Ireland and moves to Milton Keynes. Alissa is aged 9 and no longer shares a bedroom with her sisters. The abuse becomes more frequent.
He would go into her bedroom at night and he would sexually assault her. This has got to be one of the worst nightmares for a child, knowing that she's had no childhood and all she can recall is being abused by her father, who is supposed to be somebody that loves you and cherishes you.
And he'd come in the middle of the night, so it could be a couple of times a week. It was not like you could say that it's not going to happen tonight. You never knew, so I lived in fear of every night. That was going to be the night. Didn't know when it was going to happen. There was no set way, you know, in how it happened and what nights he was going to come. So every night when I went to bed, I just remember hiding under my covers and making sure I was tucked in. All the blankets were like in, because maybe like if he had to pull them, it might like not bother, or maybe if he thinks I'm really fast asleep and he can't see me, then he won't bother, because none of it ever stopped him. But that fear of what was gonna, because you knew what he was gonna do. Sorry. I didn't want to be alive anymore. Then
to have to go and do a police interview where you have to describe in absolute intimate detail exactly what happened to you, when it happened to you, the behaviours that occurred, it's incredibly painful because it brings a level of shame. It doesn't belong to you, but it's been given to you. So discussing those facts that you've hidden away, that you've tried to cope with your entire life to get over, suddenly you're reopening wounds that have long since tried to be healed. It takes great courage, but the pain is overwhelming.
We did have breaks in the interview. She did get very distressed through the interview because you're talking to somebody about what's gone in their childhood, and they do, to a certain degree, they're reliving it again. What got me is that the mother was aware of what was going on, and she did nothing. She said that she didn't have a chance to tell the police. Well, I know from the interviews that she had ample opportunity to contact the police and alert them what was going on very early on. And she didn't, she just allowed the abuse to continue.
Wasn't how I thought a mum would be. Obviously now I'm a mum myself. I know how a mum should be with her children. I think they should behave with their children. My mum wasn't really like that. She obviously lived in fear of my father. So I guess us children were just second, really, to her own trouble.
As Alissa gets older, her father gets a job as a long-distance lorry driver and starts taking her away with him.
And he would take Alissa with him on the overnight journeys. You know, for Alissa, a young child, knowing that, yeah, I'm going away with my dad, thinking that that should be a joyous thing. But she was like, she knew what was going to happen.
He used to take me out of school, take me on trips in the lorry. Some of them were to stay out overnight. He would kiss me and cuddle me and touch me first. And then he'd make me touch him too. I just shut myself down so I couldn't feel anything.
Coming up, Alissa's father is re-interviewed by the police.
He did come across as being cold. He was trying to manipulate my interview.
Alissa Moore has been sexually assaulted and raped by her father, James O'Brien, from the age of 7.
He'd take my underwear off and just rape me.
Now, on June the 14th, 2014, she's making a police statement about the abuse she endured all those years ago. It's the first time she's ever spoken in detail about her childhood.
So I knew, obviously, that some abuse had taken place, but not to the extent that she opened up to me when we did the formal interview.
At secondary school, Alissa's class starts having sex education, and it brings home to her the sickening truth about her father.
But I knew already what it was that he was doing. And that's what, I was looking at. Those kind of pictures on the screen, knowing that I already knew. He was having sex with me. Just felt disgusting, really. I remember becoming defiant, if that's the word. He'd ask me to do something, and sometimes I'd just push my luck to just push him really into hitting me, because to me the smack across the head or the punch in the back or whatever was much easier to take than the other. And in my mind, I thought that if he hit me, he wouldn't come near me to abuse me.
As a child, you do what you're told. Adults act a certain way towards you and you accept it because you're a child. But as you become a teenager, that's different. You start to question everything. Emotionally, you start to gain new vocabulary. And socially, you start to experience other peers who have their own stories. And suddenly, you aren't a child anymore. You're a young person, a young adult. And that's when everything begins to change, because young adults find their voices and young adults understand what's right and wrong. And that's what happens to Alissa.
Then, at the age of 15, and with a growing awareness that what her father is doing is wrong, Alissa decides to stand up to him.
He came to pick me up one day from school to take me to the woods. And when he told me to undress, I went, no, I'm not doing this anymore. That's it, no more. And he just buckled up his belt and drove me home, and that was it. He never, ever touched me again.
The abuse ends in the summer of 1979, and a few months later, Alissa leaves home. Recounting the abuse she endured between the ages of 7 and 15, has been a harrowing ordeal.
And after we'd finished, she did appear to be relieved. I can remember with Alissa, I said, "Who's the first person you told about this?" And she said, "You." And that, my heart just went out to her. You know, that all these years she's just been carrying around what's been going on.
Yeah, I've protected him for all these years. He's been able to live a normal life, and everyone think of him as this great man who brought up 5 children.
Your dad is somebody that you're supposed to love, look up to, have them there to protect you, not for use you as basically a sex toy, you know, and get his own gratification from having sex with a child. It just beggars belief.
And I used to just ask myself, why did you wait so long? Why didn't you just do it? Why protect him?
I've been doing this job for a long, long time. As a parent, as a police officer, things that I hear still do affect me. She got very distressed, and we did. I got emotional. You just can't help it. But at the end of the day, I'm there to do a job and to bring offenders to justice. So unfortunately, you have to put things to the back of your mind and carry on with the investigation.
The challenges of dealing with historical sexual abuse allegations are immense. There is no direct evidence, physical evidence, forensic evidence, or corroborative witness statements. It is like piecing together a jigsaw. A statement from one witness can corroborate something another witness said. It's about establishing the truth, because there is seldom an eyewitness to that event.
Armed with new evidence, the police re-interview Alissa's father, James O'Brien.
Once we got Alissa's statement, then James was further arrested then on the new evidence that we had. He was re-interviewed, again, denied all allegations, saying they would never do that because Alissa was the apple of his eye. He did come across as being cold. He was trying to manipulate my interview. I just remained professional throughout, and that's, you know, what I'm thinking about is the investigation.
Police continue their painstaking inquiries, talking to potential witnesses, and searching through records dating back more than 4 decades.
Yeah, it's not like saying I've just been sexually abused 4 hours ago, where you've obviously got all your forensics and things like that. It's a jigsaw puzzle that I'm building all the pieces of. Who did you speak to? When did you speak to them? What was said? Medical records, obtaining all medical records. Even sometimes it's school records. So all this formulates part of the investigation.
Meanwhile, one of Alissa's sisters also agrees to make a victim statement. Her sickening account includes the fact that her mother, Joan O'Brien, arranged an abortion for her when she was 13.
When we interviewed Joan and we brought up about the abortion, she did state that, yes, she arranged for the daughter to go and have an abortion, knowing that at the time that it was the husband that got her daughter pregnant.
With both parents continuing to deny the allegations against them, the case is being prepared for trial. But for Alissa, whatever the outcome, nothing will ever be the same again.
I think knowing that she's spoken out about what she's been through, what she's had to the ordeal that she's gone through, it's like having, I can only imagine it'd be like having a weight lifted off your shoulders, thinking, you know, at last I've told somebody what's been going on.
From when I gave my statement, just over a year prior to that, it was like I was a child again. The fear and anxiety, sleepless nights, sometimes almost even imagining that he was in the room. Didn't have any kind of strength to know how to deal with that situation. I felt so drained and weak and scared.
After Alissa has told her story to the authorities, she recognises that she feels almost childlike emotionally, but that makes absolute sense because to survive, she had to compartmentalise the way that she felt. She had to store it somewhere safely in her brain so it didn't destroy her. But when you expose that, when you open that box, suddenly you have that child, the child that wasn't protected, the child that didn't feel safe, the child that didn't feel the sense of love they deserved. And that's such a grieving process to go through. So for Alissa, adult as she may be, at this point, she's returning to the child that deserved all that support and didn't get it.
Coming up, Alissa's worst fear that she wouldn't be believed seems to be coming true.
They were trying to make me feel like I made it all up and that it was all lies.
From the age of 7, Alissa Moore is repeatedly raped and abused by her father.
It just reminded me that I wasn't to tell anyone that he loved me and I was his special girl, and if anyone knew, they wouldn't understand.
4 decades later, she finally breaks her silence.
I think we were in the interview room for about 2 hours when she literally just completely opened up and told me about her childhood and what abuse she was suffering by her parents.
I've protected him for all these years. He's been able to live a normal life.
July the 13th, 2015, Aylesbury Crown Court. James O'Brien, Alissa's father, is charged with rape, attempted rape, and indecent assault of a child. Her mother, Joan O'Brien, is charged with child cruelty. Alissa gives evidence by video link to avoid facing her parents in court.
And because my statement was given on video, I was able to go into a separate room and the video was then played to the courtroom and I had to sit there and watch while I was on the screen. And all I could see at that time was obviously the judge and the barristers.
Alissa's evidence is harrowing.
You look at the members of the jury on any case, they don't know what they're going to listen to. And you tend to forget how this can affect a member of a jury who doesn't know what we deal with.
And I could hear someone crying in the court. I just presumed it was my mother. But I found out afterwards when I asked the police officer that it wasn't my mother, it was 2 women in the jury crying.
I mean, obviously Alissa got distressed, upset through giving her evidence, and that impacts on the members of the jury, the human.
The trial's halted while jury members compose themselves. Then Alissa, still on video link, is cross-examined.
When they watched it and started questioning me, they were trying to make me feel like I made it all up and that it was all lies. And I know that I got really upset and quite hysterical at some points. Because I wasn't, I wasn't lying, I didn't make that up.
I mean, it's never an easy process going to court and giving evidence anyway. I know when you're in that witness box, you can feel like you are, that you're on trial when you're not.
It just confirmed to me for all the reasons when I was younger why you wouldn't want to say anything like that because people don't believe you.
It takes great courage to tell your story, but to have your story broken down into minute detail with the aim of discrediting you feeds into the shame and fear that you did something wrong, that you were responsible. So to be able to cope with that is testament to the amount of bravery and courage she has as an individual.
Alissa's parents were sitting there, behind the dock. They showed no remorse whatsoever. For a child to sit, or for, what was a child, now a grown-up, seeing that, it's got to be horrendous.
July the 17th. James O'Brien is convicted of 7 counts of rape of a child, 7 counts of indecent assault of a child, and 1 count of attempted rape of a child. He's jailed for 24 years.
I was shocked. I just didn't think that that was going to happen at all. And 24 years was just unreal to me.
24 years, you can get less for murder. The sentence certainly shows the seriousness of the crimes that have been committed by James.
24 years reflects the seriousness of the crime and strength of the evidence. It is a just reward for the meticulous way that the police and Crown Prosecution Service pulled together this tragic historical investigation. It shows that Alissa was believed and how determination by the police and Crown Prosecution Service and the victim can result in convictions for things that happened many years ago. The passage of time should not be detrimental to the detection of crime.
Alissa's mother, Joan O'Brien, is convicted of 2 counts of child cruelty and sentenced to 6 years.
Because she didn't stop him from hurting us. And she should have. She was my mum.
You know, she went to her mum, thinking her mum would protect her, and basically she just shunned her and allowed her husband to beat her up severely, to sexually abuse her whenever he wanted. She just turned a blind eye to it. If she didn't see it, it wasn't going on.
You know, but I would imagine that all normal women want to make sure that their kids are safe, because you just do. So I don't understand, knowing what she knew, why she didn't do anything. I find it more difficult, and I try to analyse her more than I do him. And yet he's the one that did the physical pain and took away my childhood, really.
For Alissa, the courage she has shown in speaking out has been vindicated. But the years she has lost can never be recovered.
She'll never forget what she's been through. Nobody can ever take that away from her. But hopefully, you know, the healing process will start now. It was always said she was a closed box. Hopefully, she's an open box now, because everything's been lifted off her.
Moving forward, you start to rebuild your life. And I'm not saying that I'm really old, but at 52, I could have been 24. So I've missed out on such a big chunk of my life from protecting them.
Because of the trauma she's suffered, Alissa makes an application under the Criminal Injuries Compensation Scheme.
I did mine and my sister's, and within a couple of weeks got a letter back saying that I wasn't entitled to compensation because of paragraph 19 in the rules.
Paragraph 19 states that you can't be compensated if you live in the same household as the perpetrator.
When I read it, I was really hurt, because how does a 7-year-old, that's what I homed in on, how does a 7-year-old get away from a parent? So what they were saying was that if my next door neighbour had have abused me, I would have been fine. It's just unfair, really, really unfair, and I felt like I'd been slapped in the face, really.
To make matters worse, the law was changed 3 months after the abuse by her father stopped.
My abuse ended in July 1979, And the law says that anything prior to October 79 is not recognised. So how do you put a date on someone who's abused?
Alissa being refused compensation is an absolute kick in the teeth, because the truth is that she had her whole childhood stolen. And whilst money can never make up for that, it can never make up for that situation, what it can do is legitimise the fact that the eyes of the law and the community around you see that there was wrong and want to give you something that recognises and represents that. If that doesn't happen, what are we saying to Alissa? We're saying that what she went through had little meaning.
Against all odds, and despite everything, Alissa is happily married with 2 grown-up daughters and 3 grandchildren.
I wouldn't be sitting here today if it wasn't for my husband and my 2 girls and my grandchildren. They mean the world to me. They've been my strength in all of my adulthood.
I take my hat off to her, how she's come through this and come out to be the person that she is. She's a lovely lady.
It did happen, it's sad, and I cry sometimes. But it's okay to cry. And today, I think I'm doing all right. I'm stronger, and I am doing all right. Yeah, I'm happy.